And now a message from our friends at Fetching Food.
The 1970s and 80s had Elbow, Gravy Train, Purina, Meow Mix, and Bell Bottoms. You've changed your clothes, now change how you feed your pet. Like Bell Bottoms, kick the kibble and join us in the 21st century with the healthiest diet for dogs and cats. Feed naturally, feed raw, feed Fetching Foods.
I'm from Missouri. That's all I know.
Hello, pups and kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled and informative episode of the Groomer Next Door podcast. I'm your host, Chris Green, and joining us this week, she's amazing, she's talented, she's wonderful, she's the headmistress and founder of Kitty Bungalow, Charm School for the Wayward Cats. Absolutely the most charismatic lady I think we can possibly have the luxury to be able to talk to. She will be joining us in just a few moments. Man, I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to this conversation. It is just going to be a lot of fun. But before that, let's go into our fact of the week. Cats cannot taste sweet foods due to the lack of sweet taste buds. Well, if reincarnation is a thing, I'm out for being a cat. I like their sleeping part. I don't do any of that. So I like to try that sleeping thing. But I like me the sugar. As I've mentioned in previous podcasts, I'm really a fan of sugar. You can take alcohol, you can take nicotine, you can take drugs. I don't want any of those, but I do like my sugar. You know, good thing of Fruity Pebbles in the morning, and I'm just happy. I guess we could, could do without some things, but, I don't want to go without my sugar. That's a great thing. Before we actually go into our podcast this week, I did want to take a little side trip. A friend of ours named Chelsea Kent, she's been on the podcast before. She is one of the great pioneers and real person who really does a great deal of work for animals. She goes to the AFCO meetings and is looking for a little bit of help getting her out there. It is really pricey to get out to those meetings, and sometimes it's just impossible. So I wanted to just put a little bit of a light on her, and if anybody is looking to actually help her get out to the Florida AFCO meeting, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to actually add the links to the podcast description page, and I'm going to add it to this page that's most likely how you found us on Facebook. I'm always saying, we have to support these great people, whether it's Chelsea Kent, it's Sean Simons, it's any of these pioneers that are doing so many good things. We need to help them as much as possible. So if you can help, please do so. I really would appreciate it. By that sound, Sean is about to enter the podcast studio, and I am looking so forward to sitting down with her. So with that said, welcome Sean Simons to the podcast.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
All right, this week on our podcast, for the very first time, we actually have a headmistress, which we're going to go into so much in this, and it's such a great honor and a privilege to be able to talk to Sean Simons. She's the headmistress and founder of Kitty Bungalow, Charm School for Wayward Cats. And every time I say it, I always think I'm talking about something Harry Potter, which I love. Thank you for being on the podcast.
I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm thrilled to talk to you. I really am. Well, let's go into the beginning. I always love to hear about somebody's origin and a little bit about them. Before we actually get into Kitty Bungalow, I want to know, who is Sean Simons?
Well, that is a crazy question to answer. I think there's a pretty interesting origin story, and it's something I think that plays a part of Kitty Bungalow. Because when I started the organization, I didn't even have a cat. I never had animals growing up. I never wanted to be a vet or dreamt about having a pony. It just wasn't the path that I had as a kid or an adult. But my husband and I bought a house in Los Angeles, and nobody told us that someone already owned the garage, and that was a feral cat who liked to get down in there like it was a hot disco at midnight. And we started finding these little kittens in the backyard. And that's really how the bungalow started. It started by a personal problem with my own yard, and then it sort of branched out from there.
Interesting. And, you know, it's funny, when you buy a house or even rent in a house, sometimes you get an actual extended guest, and you don't expect it. I can completely relate. So
yeah, we have some great possums and raccoons as well.
You know, all of my life of being in LA, I don't think I ever saw a possum, nor do I ever think I saw a raccoon. Weird, right?
Oh, really? Yeah, I was just holding baby possums the other day. It was so awesome.
Yeah, sorry, that's the one type of animal I'm like, yeah, they're kind of...
Really?
Yeah.
They're so cute. Do you know that their average lifespan is only 2 to 3 years?
I did not know that, but I can imagine.
That's their organic lifespan is 2 to 3 years. So, and they have no defenses. I mean, their defenses is just having bad teeth. That's their biggest defense. That they make a big ugly face and show their ugly teeth, but they don't bite. They're not aggressive. They're sweet little ugly animals. In fact, actually, the very first time that I went trapping in my yard, trying to catch the cats to get them fixed, my very first TNR, if you will, which is trap, neuter, return. I had a trap set in the backyard, and it was kind of rainy, and it was dark, and we were new to the neighborhood and to the yard and the whole thing, and I could see that the trap had triggered, and I went down kind of at night to peek in there, and I had a flashlight, and there was this big possum in there, but I seriously was like, oh, what ugly cat is this? What is this? So the very first cat I ever trapped in TNR was a possum, so
that actually
some synergy.
That happens a lot, though. In any kind of TNR, you'll either get a raccoon, which is ironic.
Yeah.
You'll get the possum, but they're blind pretty much, so that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or you'll just get some random thing. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not a skunk, those are not fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that would be bad. Well, here's an odd one. Did you ever name the cat that originated any of this? Did you name him or her?
Yes, and you know what? It's so funny because we pride ourselves on really original, fun names. At the bungalow, we take a theme and we name through a theme. But the original cat, who really started Kitty Bungalow, is the true founder of the bungalow. Her name was Mama Cat.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Yeah, I know. Everybody has one. She was a beautiful chocolate point Siamese. She was feral. She was super feral, and she was probably the last in my colony that started to let me pet her. She took forever, but boy, she was pretty. Whew.
You know, I can relate to this. The one cat that came with our house here, because that's how it kind of started, I also named her Mama Kitty.
Yeah, I know everybody has one, because you know what it is. It's especially with the ferals. You start it's like T.S. Eliot, right? You know, the cats have multiple names, and you talk to them about, I think, one of their organic names. You know, we're always talking about what we see. It's the first thing. You're not really naming them. You're sort of giving them a title, and then you use it so much it sort of becomes their name. It's not like something you would, if you were thinking about naming them, that you would go, oh, let's call her Mama Cat.
Well, I mean, I'll even show. See, I'm the same way. I like to be original when it comes to names and be clever. And her kitten was a calico, and being that I had just moved here.
Oh, you didn't. You callied her?
Did you cally her?
I did. I have a tortie, and the first time I ever saw a tortie, and again, remember, I was not like I'm a vet tech now. I do all kinds of medical stuff, and none of that is my background at all. I've just been doing it from the bungalow, but it was not something that I started, that I studied, that I did when I was young. So one of the very first adoptions when we were adopting out one of Mama Cat's little Siamese kittens, we delivered the kittens to the home, and we used to make, my husband and I, handmade cat scratchers for every kitten that was adopted out, and we would take it over to the home and see, the kitten in the home, and they had this tortie, this big fat tortie. I had never seen one before, and I couldn't. Wow!
Mm-hmm.
It looked like this hand-stitched. It sort of reminded me of the Velveteen Rabbit, and I was so impressed by this. And it just so happens that I now have a tortie who, found me. It was not like I went picking one. But her name is Brewster, because the guy who invented the kaleidoscope, his last name is Brewster. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's a really good name because she's so colorful. She looks like a kaleidoscope. So, yes, we try to be original, and we're very Wikipedia with our names. We'll start digging into historical facts in order to find something.
I like it. If you ever find a cat in some kind of electrical area, you can always call it Tesla.
Oh, yeah, we have had such.
I may not be original. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe not so much. Of course, I did just watch the doc on Netflix on Tesla because I thought that was just so cool. So that's why it pops in my head.
Yeah. Well, and then because they come in litters, so then you have to look at all of electricity, and so then you start looking at different radio waves and different aspects of it, and you'll always learn something when you're on the search for names, and you run a rescue where you have 300 to 500 cats that come through the doors. You will definitely learn some things if you are searching via Wikipedia for names.
I commend you on that one. I take in rescues, and boy, is it the hardest thing ever. And sometimes you fall so in love with them, and I guess the hardest thing is to let them go and to find the right home for them. But there is those foster failure moments, and curiosity, how many foster failure moments have you had?
Me personally?
Yes.
Oh, none. I have two cats, and they both moved themselves into my house. So we started, with this colony in our backyard, and at one point we had about 15 cats in the colony, and we put in a cat door into the basement and to come up into the house so that if they ever were in danger or if the weather was really bad, they could come in if they wanted. Now, these are true feral cats. At the time, we couldn't touch them, and slowly some of them would let us pet them, and so we had one cat move into the house. His name is Big Boy. He's a giant, and that's actually not his real name. His real name is Moby, after Moby Dick. His original name was Farrah, after Farrah Fawcett, because he's a Maine Coon with gorgeous hair. But we thought he was a girl because he had beautiful hair. When we got him fixed, we found out he wasn't. And he started to come into the house. We would open the door where they eat, and he would come in and kind of do a hot lap and go back out. He started to come in and spend a little time and go back out, and eventually moved himself in. And when he was coming into the house, we couldn't pet him at first. So he moved in. So I guess we were his foster fail. And then Brewster was a mama cat in the original bungalow, which was a trailer, which my husband and I brought into our backyard in Los Angeles, and I was so proud of that trailer. It was many years ago, and Brewster was a young mama cat with kittens, and we tried to adopt her out with her first litter of kittens, and she wasn't adopted. Everybody wants the little ones. We had more kittens come in, and she became the wet nurse for them. And then more kittens came in, and I think she looked at them and was like, "Oh, no, you don't." And she broke out of the trailer and moved into the house through the cat door. And she I don't think she realized that we were the ones that were keeping her as a captive wet nurse, because she sort of moved in with her captors. But to this day, she hates kittens. She just they get near her and she thinks that we're going to, make her a nurse again. She was not a great mom.
That is a challenge to actually find the wet nurse. And it's really a crapshoot. Sometimes you get it, sometimes they're like, nope, get away.
Yeah, but it's really amazing, these good mommies who love whatever kitten you put near them, and I mean they're gold for us, because we do 100% street cat rescue, so we're often finding kittens without mommies, where we have dumpster cats where people have taken little kittens and they throw them in the garbage, and we have so many kittens through kitten season that are coming in, and when we have a good mommy who is happy to share her buxom bounty, it's a huge help to us.
Yeah, especially when you think about it. Now, this may sound a little bit ridiculous. Now, I grew up on the other side of the hill, so I was always in the valley, and I still never really heard of dogs or cats or kittens or puppies being dumped. It wasn't until I moved here that it became one of these, oh yeah, this is almost on any kind of kitten season, anytime a dog has a litter, it seems to be almost guaranteed that you're going to find them. It's so weird to think in Los Angeles this is happening.
Oh yeah, the very first litter that I had that didn't happen in my yard were garbage bag babies, and someone had contacted me because they had known that I was doing TNR in the community, and they contacted me about these 6 tiny little babies. It happens. It's crazy that it happens.
It's so weird. I mean, I get it. Wherever there's people, there's going to be, ignorance. I get that. And so those people, they'll just do what they do. It's just always one of those hardships for me to really put into any kind of fathom it. Thinking that anything on the West or East Coast would actually be like this. Because again, everything kind of starts either coast, and we look at dogs differently in the Western East Coast. We look at cats differently. It's so weird, and I'm shocked.
Yeah. I mean, the cats are a huge problem, and especially in Los Angeles. And I think until you're in something, you often don't see it. I never heard of kittens being dumped until I was in this either, even though I was living here. It's not like it started when I first got involved. And, I think you're more involved in animals where you are now. I think that's what really happens, is that until you lift back the curtain and peek in, you don't really see the whole scene. And I think that's sort of what happened to me.
Yeah, I think you actually hit that on the head, because honestly, I imagine everything is going on. I mean, I guess it's kind of dumb to think that this isn't happening everywhere, but you just expect better, I guess, is really how it comes down to. I mean, I'm always talking about nutrition, and yet it's everywhere, and all of our dogs and cats, and yet people are going, why would you feed raw to your cats and dogs? And, well, do you not know? And
Right.
I mean, I could be talking to somebody in Los Angeles or talking to somebody in New York, and it will.
Oh, absolutely.
Same thing. They're like, really? Raw feeding? So I guess. Now, are a lot of the cats feral, or are you actually seeing a mixture between feral and just regular house cats?
We do 100% street cat rescue. So every cat and kitten that comes in is feral, minus a couple of strays who knows where they were before and how they became that stray, and a couple of dogs and a few possums. We call them our foreign exchange students. I love a good theme party, clearly. All of our volunteers are teachers, and all of our rooms we have the literature class and social studies and history. But they all come from the street one way or another. And I don't want people to think that, we tame all ferals, because that's not true. Just like every student has a different path. Not every student's going to go off to college. Sort of all the cats have different paths as well. So we do a lot of TNR, which again is trap, neuter, return. And for anyone, anywhere that is listening, that loves cats and doesn't want to see them dying in shelters, go find a local organization that's doing TNR and get involved. That is how we get out of this mess. It is the only humane way to become a no-kill nation. That's just the only way. So some of the adults, that's their path, is that we trap them, they go to the vet, they get all that they need to be healthy, they get all their vaccines, they get any medication that they need, and they get fixed, and they get returned to what was their home. And some of the cats, if they have little babies and their mamas, they'll come into the bungalow. And some of the mama cats that come in very feral with babies, some of them came up. I have to say it's probably like 70%. And it's mama cats and sick adult ferals are the easiest to tame as opposed to just regular ferals, because they can tell that you're helping them, that you're doing something for them. Mama cats suddenly realize, oh my God, I just lucked out. I just got a room at the Four Seasons, and it comes with a nanny. We're there taking care of their kittens and helping, and it takes a village type of thing. So I think that about 70% of those mamas tame and end up into homes. The 30% that don't, we put into what we call our trade tech school or our working cat program. So we have a program for feral cats in need from our shelters that only kill ferals in Los Angeles, and if you want to get really technical, we can talk about that. But so we have them placed at breweries, at wineries, at nurseries, not like baby nurseries, but like tree nurseries. There are some cats that have my dream job. They're in Northern California at a winery. It's like, ooh, want a swapsies? You could be the headmistress. I could lay around in the vineyard chasing gophers. What do you say? They're like, no thumbs, can't do it. So it's a different path for all of them. The kittens that come in, and we do kittens like 4 months and under, 5 months and under. I would say for them, we probably have a 98.7% success rate.
Still good rate.
Yeah. Well, it really, we have a facility, which is like the only facility that I've seen that does this. We have about 100 volunteers that come in on a weekly basis, and they're working with the cats. So, we really go from hiss to home. And I think a lot of that is, it's all about breaking down those barriers and, by seeing so many different people, so many different sounds, so many different smells, it really helps move that process along so much more quickly. And I read The Little Prince when I was little, and, the taming of the fox, where, you sit each day and you just wait slowly. And if you go on the internet, too, it tells you, let them do it in their own time. And we don't know. We don't do any of that. That's not how we work at all. We take a very progressive, aggressive approach into socializing the ferals, and it works dramatically well and can work for shy house cats everywhere as well.
Now, in just some kind of idea of what you actually are doing in these classes with these cats, I mean, kind of break it down a little bit, because I find this to be very interesting. And it's like, I've dealt with some feral cats, and they're like, leave me alone, human.
Well, so cats and kittens are different. So again, we're dealing with 5-month-old kittens and below. If you go on the internet, they'll tell you after 6 weeks you can't really socialize a kitten, and that's not at all true. Adult feral cats are totally different animals. My ferals that I still have in the backyard at their feeding station, you would think they're my cats. They'll roll over for me. I can rub their bellies. They're all over me. In the front yard, they run from me like I'm gonna chase them with an axe. Adult ferals are weird, and it takes a long time. So, and the mama cats, again, like I said, we're providing a service for them beyond just food that they're able to feel. They know that we're taking care of their babies with them. But we get a lot of really hissy kittens, and they're not teeny tiny, and our whole process, forced love and food bribes. I apparently would make a horrible parent of a child. My kid would just be eating Milky Ways and Pop-Tarts because I'd be bribing them to do their homework and whatever it was. But we have developed different lesson plans for cats. For instance, there are feral cats that will hiss at you on approach. First of all, our classrooms are very small. Not unlike probably many classrooms across the country that are complaining that their classrooms are too small, but we do it on purpose because we want them to be small. We don't want them to have room to be chased, right? All a chase does is build up anxiety, and that's the last thing you want to do, right? In a movie, if there's a chase scene, that's all to pump up your anxiety and adrenaline. For a feral cat, if you're trying to touch them and they're running from you and you can't get your hands on them quickly and it becomes this chase thing, in their head they're going, what happens when I get caught? Right? Are they gonna eat me? Are they gonna put me in boiling water? What happens? I don't know, and it builds up this anxiety. So the quicker you can stop that chase, that anxiety, the better chance that you have once your hands are on them. So small spaces are really important. So for a lot of them, they will hiss on approach, right? So they'll hiss, spit at you when you first go to reach them, and then you're able to pet them. And we have some that we can pet for a super long time. We can put them on our lap, but they still hiss at you when you approach. Well, think if you're going to adopt a cat, and you come in and that cat hisses at you first. You're going to go next, right? You're not interested in that at all. So that's a habit we absolutely have to break. So we have a lesson plan called the step and repeat. So it all has to do with you walk in, the cat hisses at you, you start to pet it, it's not hissing, you give it a treat, and you exit, and you wait a couple minutes, and you go back in, and the cat hisses at you, and you do that all over again, and you walk out. The cat hisses at you, you pet, and while you're petting, it stops hissing, you give a little treat, and you walk out, and then you walk in, and it doesn't quite hiss as quickly, and it stops hissing, and then over the time, it no longer hisses at approach. because you've broken down that anxiety about what happens when this person touches me. It no longer thinks, oh, I'm going to go in boiling water or they're going to eat me. It knows it's going to get petted and treats and laps and loves. So, I mean, that's one of the lesson plans that we do. We have other lesson plans that identify, what is the anxiety of this cat, and then how do we break down that anxiety in a way. And we use repetition and food bribes.
Food bribes help. They really do.
Yeah, a lot.
It's funny with feral cats. I mean, every so often we'll get one in, and we adopt them out for barn cats because a lot of barns, they're great. They're great for barn cats.
Yep, working cats. Yep.
Exactly where I was going to go with it. Now, you also have on your working cat program, you also have something in Colorado as well. So, kind of take us through that, because I mean, obviously, why vineyards, that makes sense. But what is
why Colorado?
Yeah.
I had an old childhood friend who I hadn't seen for 34 years, I think, and we finally got together. And they live in Colorado. They live outside of Boulder, and she has a farm out there. And she was telling me how difficult it was to get barn cats out there. Mm-hmm. And I said, I will bring you barn cats and all of your friends. And she was with the Horse Association, and we just got hooked up. And so we started our first transfer out there. And we, when we do big installations, like if we're going to Northern California, to Colorado, we have our school bus is filled with cats, of feral cats. We probably, have about, 20 to 27 cats that we're taking to different locations. And we were able to find a bunch of people in Colorado that couldn't get barn cats. I had a real difficulty with it, and other rescues that didn't want to have their cats be barn cats. And ours are coming from a death row city shelter of the back feral room and have no other way out. And it's been a great process for us.
I just think that's the greatest thing ever, because people look at feral cats as really, they're, for lack of better words, they're just throwaway, which is so terrible. They have a great purpose, and they're great to the ecosystem. They're needed,
yes.
And yet people don't see that.
Yeah, it's really weird that there's this ugly fight that's going on, and I'm not talking about the one that's going on in Washington, D.C., but there's this really ugly fight that's going on with the cat and the bird people. And for some reason, the bird people are completely against TNR. And if you really get them to talk, what they really want is they want there to be no outdoor cats. And I don't, like... Is it that they're secretly rat and mice people? What they want there to be for the earth to be covered with rats and mice. You're right, there is an ecosystem balance, and if you take all of the cats out of the outdoors, you're going to have too many of all of the other things that they help keep down. But again, an ecosystem is a balance, and I'll be the first to say that there are too many outdoor unfixed feral cats right now. That's why kittens in the shelters, the adorable ones that we watch on YouTube and go, oh, it's so cute, those are the ones that are killed in the shelters, 8 weeks and under. And they're coming from the street. So right now there is an imbalance, but we should be working together. The bird people should be thrilled and should be supporting TNR. I always say, hey, do you hate outdoor cats? Great, we're the group for you. Do you love cats? Great, we're the group for you. Because we're trying to get there to be less outdoor cats.
And
because we want there to be a balance.
The part that really upsets me with all of these kitten seasons that go by is it's not only the feral cats, it's the unfixed cats that are just... yeah.
I
knew that was going to... That would do that.
I can't even. I mean, there's nothing. Yeah, it drives me crazy. And we even get people that are like, oh, well, I don't need to get them fixed because they're going to be indoor cats. You go, one day, you're going to be opening the door for the UPS guy when there's a fire engine that goes by, and your cat gets spooked and runs outside and comes home 5 days later, knocked up. Mm-hmm. And then they say, well, it's okay because I'll find all the kittens' homes. It's not like they'll go to the shelter. But every kitten that you find a home for, you just stole a home for a kitten that was born and we couldn't have stopped it in time. You can stop yours in time. There's no reason for people not to get their animals fixed. There are so many low-cost spay-neuter organizations. There are so many rescues that assist with this, and it's better for your animals, dog or cat. Dogs will stop roaming around, they'll stop running away, they'll stop howling. The cats won't spray, they'll stop going into heat, whether they're male or female. That'll drive you nutty. I have no idea. And there's less risk of cancer, a certain kind of cancer. I don't know why anyone would say, oh, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. I'm always kind of, for one, it's, as you mentioned, the spraying, that alone. Oh. It's the worst.
Yeah, the worst.
And then that the female, when she's in heat, oh gosh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, the spraying everywhere, or the fact that the cat will meow like that in that head.
Yeah, and even their pee changes smell after they're fixed. Like even just an unfixed male Tom, his pee is enough to send me like running for the hills.
It's true, and you know what the funny part is that there's that little misconception, and it's kind of a fine line. You know where a cat will jump on a spot that you sit or on your bed, and they will purposely pee on that spot because they're marking it. That's also a very good common, reason is because they're not fixed. Yes.
But let me just say really quick, because we found for everyone, get your animal fixed. Yes. But if you do have a cat that has peed or sprayed, and you're trying to get rid of a smell, the best, Fission. Do you know this product?
I'm thinking rubbing alcohol.
No, Fizion. And we've tried everything, all kinds. Like, we have this bus that drives to Colorado that has 26 cats in them. Peeing for, it smells like you can't believe. We use Fission in the back of this, and you don't even know that there are cats in there. It is a miracle cure. If anybody needs it, we highly recommend it. It's the best. Yeah.
I mean, we're very fortunate. Every time we get litter of kittens or we have foster cats, we're pretty well fortunate that we don't go through any of these things. But then again, through the nonprofit we work with, we get them fixed immediately. And that's the other part. It's like people go, well, I'm going to just go and buy a cat. Why are you buying a cat? Why are you buying a dog? I mean, as you've said it best, and again, you're in Los Angeles where I think it's a 14-day is how long a cat and dog has in a shelter. It's very limited.
It's less than that.
Is it now 7?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, mandatory. It's 5 to 7 with the Hayden law, depending on space, of course. They're not going to just go, oh, well, it's 7 days or up. But, it's depending on space. And kittens that come in, at 4 weeks old, they can't be fixed and adopted out for 4 weeks. So you can see how that becomes a super problem.
Wow. Yeah. No. Yeah. And then, again, 4-week-old kitten. I mean, it's still going to need to be bottle fed unless you have a wet nurse. And good luck on finding somebody to have the time to do that. That is a commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, you can, at 4 weeks, you can start to get them into some gruel. They'll have to be supplemented as well. But yeah, anytime we get them super young like that, the first thing that we're trying to do is to get them into some gruel. And we use baby food. We use actual baby food, all chicken baby food, and KMR, and mix it up and.
At least it,
and to start on that.
Very good, source of protein. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's better than using cat food that has nothing besides terrible products and crap. And
yeah, the hardest thing it's not getting them to want to eat it. It's getting them to recognize a plate, because a plate looks nothing like a boob.
No.
And it's like the whole process is so different. If you put it in a little syringe and just push the syringe so that they're licking it up off the tip of the syringe, it's more like the process of a boob than a plate. Like they'll walk right through their plates because they don't understand what that is. Yeah.
Now let's go into what's already happened, but of course, recapping is always fun to do. Now, April 21st, you had an amazing event. It was the Cat Extravaganza, and you had a couple key people, some, I guess you'd say, famous. Tell us all about that. I mean, you had some great guests.
Yeah, we did. So my background, I used to be an entertainment producer, and I was in that industry since I was a little kid. I mean, I wasn't a producer when I was a little kid, but I used to be an actress. I grew up in musical theater as a little kid, and was sort of in that world my whole life. So when I first started the rescue, I knew we needed to get some money, and the only thing I could think about is, what I knew how to do. And so we decided to, the very first year we did Cats for Cats. We did a reinterpretation of the musical Cats as told from T.S. Eliot's point of view. And Fred Willard starred as T.S. Eliot, and we had a bunch of other celebrities that were a part of that. And we, as an organization, Kitty Bungalow had been an organization for about 4 months. I don't suggest anyone that has a nonprofit that in your first 4 months you throw a huge gala, because nobody knows who you are. We were just lucky. We had a bunch of celebrities that participated, and we've been doing something every year. And this year was our first year with a brand new show. We did a show called Hamilton's Cats, and years and years ago, I was a producer for the HSUS, for the Humane Society Genesis Awards, which is an award show where celebrities read off the teleprompter and give awards to people in the media that are doing things about animals. I was hired as a producer. I didn't have this organization yet. I thought, rescue people were weirdos. I came home the first meeting and I was telling my husband about everyone's wearing panda shirts and giraffe earrings and cat socks and a couple years later, I started to get involved with my own organization. But one of the things that happened early on is that people are buying, tables for this for $10,000, and I saw that money was going towards my budget as a producer. It was going to my crew. It was going to the lights. And when I started the bungalow, I said, our events, when people are paying money to come to an event, that money needs to go to the animals. So we have to figure out a way for everything else to be covered some other way. So we started doing these big shows, and we have had some corporate sponsorship, which has been key for us. So we did this big show, Hamilton's Cats, and Solid Gold Pet Food, and we had Lime Crime, Cruelty-Free Makeup, the Mickelson Foundation. The money that they give us is what we need to produce the show, and then everybody's tickets goes to directly to the organization. So this show is a smash up between the musical Cats and the musical Hamilton. And if you've never seen songs from Hamilton being done with people dressed partially in cat costumes, it is super duper funny. And we had great celebrities. Fred Willard, again, who's been involved in every show, played mean old man Willard, who loans them the theater, but hates charity. And the only thing he hates more than charity are kittens. And of course, he has a turn of heart later. Emily Deschanel from the series Bones played Alice Applebaum, the wealthy donor who wants to pay to have her kids in the show. The hysterical Mindy Sterling from all the Austin Powers movies and a billion TV shows. She played the assistant, and then what happens is that there is the rumor gets out that Andrew Lloyd Webber is coming to the show. Spoiler alert, Andrew Lloyd Webber does not come to the show. And then everybody wants to get involved. Everyone in the town wants to get involved. So then we have all kinds of celebrities that come to audition for the show super late. Nicole Sullivan from Blackish played the dance choreographer. We had Joy Lenz from One Tree Hill, Tyler Hilton from One Tree Hill, Mayara Walsh from Switched at Birth, a gazillion celebrities that came out. Thomas Dekker, Hal Sparks, that come out, and they're not reading off a teleprompter. They're singing and performing. It's so cool.
That is amazing. And then it brings up, I guess, the question that I have, and I'm sure a lot of people have, is, are you going to do multiple events? Or, because that would almost be a...
God, no. Oh, wow, it's so hard. Oh, Kirsten Vangenes from Criminal Minds, so hysterical. Kirsten Vangenes is a huge animal lover, and I knew this from actually my days when I was producing the Genesis Awards. She used to go and present for that. So I saw her on YouTube singing and playing the clarinet. And we have the funniest bit of her in the show coming out from the band to try and audition to be in the show and singing and playing the clarinet. She's not that great on the clarinet, I'll just tell you. It was so funny. She was awesome. She's a great singer and so funny. It's hard to put this on. We had about 15 celebrities involved. We had a musical ensemble of 10. We had a live band. We had 2 dance troupes, and they were all choreographed by So You Think You Can Dance dancer alumni. We had a comedy troupe, so we have about 30-something people in the cast, and arranging that, it's really hard. The show, when we did it, it was the first time we had ever run the show from start to finish.
Wow. In
order. So, people were always asking me, how long is the show? I have no idea. I've never seen it. It's super, super hard to pull off, and it takes an enormous amount of energy. And while we need the money desperately for the organization to keep running, it takes so much time away from the other programs and things that we're doing.
Totally understand. I mean, it sounded like such a great thing. I mean, I saw some of the videos on Facebook, and and then I look at some of your stuff, and now I'm starting to really understand. It's so well produced. I'm going, Yeah. I'm feeling definitely a little bit under ability wise.
No, I was thinking when I saw your stuff, I was talking about your graphics. I'm like, I gotta get him to do some graphics for us. They're awesome.
And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm so amateur compared to you.
Oh,
but
no, but I also need to say that our entire crew, everyone, lighting designer, to the sound crew, to the sets, every person is a volunteer and donates their time. The entire thing is done with people and their talents and their passion without pay.
This is going to sound maybe a little ridiculous, but I wouldn't expect nothing but. And yet,
my God, that you're so naive. I'm sorry. People, and that's so funny, people said the exact opposite to me. People said to me my first year, you'll never get anyone in the band to play for free. And I said, well, I'll just keep asking. I mean, seriously, if, like, the guitar player needs the $50 that they all, you need to at least pay that. $50, that spays or neuters a cat.
Yes.
What does that do for the guitar player? And you'll just keep asking until you find the right person. Right after 9/11, when I was still a producer at the time, I remember, probably every American really feeling so useless, right? Like, I'm not a first responder. I'm not in New York. I mean, what do I do? How do I? And CBS put on. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was produced through the CBS lot, but every network aired a show called A Tribute to Heroes. Do you remember that?
Vaguely,
and it'll
yes.
tell you how old you are. So A Tribute to Heroes was on every TV station at once, and it raised funds for 9/11 and 9/11 survivors. And it was every major celebrity came out and participated in this, but there was a call out from CBS. They needed producers, and I lived close by, and I walked over, and they put me into the talent department, and for 5 days straight, I lived there, helping to make this thing happen. And I remember feeling so gratified that my silly little useless producing skills were useful in some way. So I think when you make an ask to people, you're giving them a gift. And if they choose to take it, they choose to take it. But you're giving them a gift and an opportunity to use what they have to make the world a better place.
Agreed.
I work 70 hours a week, so other people can sleep in and have a mimosa on a Sunday. I do that to make the world a better place. If you sleep in and have a mimosa every Sunday, you should send us some money. Send me the amount that your mimosa is, and then sleep in next weekend and know it's cool because, you offset it. And there's always something you can do. I happen to have been in Austin at Austin Pets Alive when the hurricane hit. Mm-hmm. And I spent 5 days vetting 370 Hurricane Harvey cats while I was there. And again, I was lucky. I had vet tech skills and was able to do that. But you know what else was needed? They needed massage therapists. We had volunteers and people that were there every day for 12 hours straight. If you're a massage therapist and there's a natural disaster of some kind, go volunteer down at the site, bring your chair, give some 10-minute massages. We needed people to help do laundry, not just for the site itself, but for the staff that were there 2 weeks and never went home. Make sandwich. I mean, there's always something you can do. There's always something you can do. And when somebody offers you an opportunity to assist a nonprofit, to assist an animal rescue, they're really giving you an opportunity. And just think about it before you say no.
I say this all the time. It's the I give quite a lot of time for the one that we volunteer for, including the last Saturday of every month where we give out free food to low-income people for their dogs and cats. And, I honestly feel, personally, that that's why I'm like, I would totally give up my time. And what's a little bit of time to do something nice? But it's like, when you're done, you cash that check of knowing you did something for somebody else. And that's a different kind of reward that it doesn't go away. It's not like money you spend. This is something that you always know, hey, you know what, I get to look forward to doing something nice.
Absolutely.
So that's why I guess for me, when you're like, well, they weren't paid, I'm like, yeah, but I would expect that everybody would jump on this opportunity. What an opportunity it would be. Yeah.
Well, we've built a great family of people that help out every year. We built a great family of celebrities that come back and help every year, and new ones that pop up every year. And it's been a really difficult time. I just got over being in bed for 14 days, and my doctor sent me directly to bed or to hospital. Those were my choices. Right after the show, but it does feel good, and everybody who participates feels good because they know that they've just done something to help someone other than themselves, and you have to reach out beyond your own ego at some point.
And you know what? A lot of people, and again, like I said, I grew up in the Valley. We were there for the Northridge earthquake, so I mean, I only know what it's like to be in Southern California. And most people, they have a perception of celebrities, and some celebrities, I'm not going to say that it's not all, but some are little snots, and I'm sure you can attest to that. But for the most part, there's a lot of them that are, and again, your cast was not a bunch of nobodies. You actually had some, top-rated people who are in.
I had a bunch of somebodies. Yeah, we had a whole slew of somebodies. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. Emily Deschanel for the rehearsal. So she did her first day rehearsal with the kids that she played their mother, and she messed up the time, and she ended up that she was going to be really late, and we had to shuffle things around. And she said, "I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I'll bring snacks."
Wow.
Which is like, how adorable is that? And sure enough, she showed up with a plate of snacks. Those are real hearts. Those are real human hearts.
You bring a set of sprinkles cupcakes, and I'm in. That's just. Yeah. Of course, most people are probably saying, "I don't know what that means." Man, if you have never been to Los Angeles, or even I know Costa Mesa now.
New York.
New York.
Yeah, and New York has them. Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
they started in New York. Yeah,
did they really?
Yeah,
I thought they started down in oh gosh, it's not Beverly Hills. I can't remember.
No, but their first one in Los Angeles was in Beverly Hills.
It was the Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because it's really close to the Beverly Hills Police Department. That's right. That place was wonderful. They are the best. They are the best cupcakes and the most expensive cupcakes I think I've ever had in my life. Good times though. Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, ever think about taking on a project and doing something back in either TV or even movies since you've got it behind you?
No.
Really?
No. No. I'm a charity girl for life now. It's really hard to put tremendous energy into something. It's really hard for me to put tremendous energy into something now that I don't feel that I'm making a difference. I just can't do it. I'm involved in other charity thoughts in the future, and other things that I would like to do, and other ways I'd like to help. But to go and anytime I've done anything, my old producing partner, I've been talking with her about. She has the script she's been trying to do for a while, and there's a dog in it, and this, and I'm like, listen, I can help get this set up. This is what we do. We get a couple of corporate sponsors on this, but you have to. You need to partner with the rescue, and part of the whole thing is that a percentage of all the ticket sales goes to that rescue, and that's the only way that I would get involved in something is if it had a charitable tie-in. Otherwise, I'm wasting a lot of really valuable time for I don't know what. My husband is still in the business. He's a dolly grip. And for listeners that don't know what that is, it's not like a doll, but if you've ever seen a picture of a guy sitting on what seems like a giant train with a camera, and that's the dolly and all the tracks, and that's what my husband does. And he does a lot of big shows, big TV shows, big movies and such, and he's in that world, but. He works 60 hours a week to make, sometimes really crappy TV. I don't know. I don't know how you work so hard to make some crappy TV. Like, that's be hard for me.
And I told you I typically shiny red ball, and so I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, sure.
But
I think we've chased a lot of them, yeah.
Well, I'm very good at that. This is where my inexperience, and probably if I had a producer, they'd be like, stay on topic. But
No.
But it's funny. I don't make the high quality stuff like you've made, but I watch. If I watch TV. And it is rare. Most of the time I'll click stuff on Netflix because I don't want to deal with commercials and stuff, or I'll DVR my stuff. But I'll watch some new shows and I'm like, this is crap. How is it this was even put together?
And it took a lot of people to get that crap there, and like the process of even getting that crap greenlit is tremendous. Yeah.
But then there's some shows that are out that you're like, why did that go away? It was so good, and yet it's gone, and I don't know why. Yeah. I'm always kind of baffled. So do you ever just kind of? I'm pretty much answering the question, but how often, I guess, is better? Do you turn on a show and go, that is just I just wasted 30 minutes or 60 minutes of my life for that garbage?
Yeah, I won't watch a TV show unless it's been highly recommended and that I can watch a bunch of it and binge at one time. I think that's the new thing. We're super bingers. So yeah, I won't accidentally watch a show or try anything out. And I think also that's why some of them go away now. There's just so many, and people aren't watching TV the way that they used to watch it when I was in the business. That you watched NBC on Thursdays from 8 until 10, and whatever came on, that's what you watched to check it all out. That's not how people watch TV anymore, and so much comes out, and you don't hear about it because it hasn't been recommended, and no one told you to DVR it, or no one told you to watch it on Hulu or the alternate ways. Cut the cord, baby. I highly recommend it. There's so many ways to watch TV without paying your high cable bill. That a lot of new stuff just doesn't get seen. So
some of it, I don't know about you, but for me, if it's a good doc, I'm happy to watch it. If it's a lot of more reality type things, like I'll watch a great cooking show. And that is just amazing.
I'll watch a bad cooking show.
I'll watch a bad cooking show too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I like my lifestyle stuff for sure. I like house rehabbing shows, cooking shows. And I like. Do you watch Shiny Red Ball Master Chef Junior?
I watch all the Master Chefs. I love them, but I also love Hell's Kitchen. So.
Oh yeah. I don't watch shows anymore. I don't like mean TV. But check out Master. No, not for me. You have to watch Master Chef Junior because he's not mean on that, and the kids are phenomenal, and it just fills me with such hope. It's so great. We got tied into the So You Think You Can Dance world for my shows years ago. Again, back when I was producing, if you remember, Nigel Lithgow, who also produced American Idol. Yeah, and he does So You Think You Can Dance. He's the one that did the very first Idol Gives Back. You remember that? I don't know how old you are. You're young.
I'm 37, right? So.
Oh, okay.
But I do remember that.
Yeah. And I produced this talk session with him about producing for good. So that's where I met him, and I was so in awe. And it was part of my transitional time of where I was getting itchy with what I was doing, and how do I? And so when we did the show the first time, I reached out to his people, and he hooked us up with Mandy Moore, the choreographer, the Tony Award-winning choreographer, and we had a whole bunch of So You Think You Can Dance dancers, and we've had them in our show every year because of that, and again because he lives it. I mean, he's rich as all day, but there's something in him that feels like he needs to give back and he needs to help participate.
It's funny because ever since I started doing this, I always kind of envisioned that we would transition to more of that. I guess open concept with people who are in this field and able to, say, oh yeah, I may make movies, I may make TV, but, I'm passionate about X, Y, Z. But that's not easy to get in touch with anybody in this industry. This is a hard industry to talk to anybody unless you're connected. Then it's not so bad.
What industry are you talking about? The entertainment industry?
Yeah, the entertainment industry. Yeah. That's the hard part. That's always been the hard part.
You have to. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I know people. I mean, I haven't been a producer for 9 years. When I first started, I had more connections because I was playing off of people. But it's not that I know people. It's that I know how to talk to those people, and so I know how to get through, and that's all it is. And it's just putting on a character and a face and being a bull ram, because the people's job is to keep you away. I mean, I learned that my first year. We actually Owen Yeoman from The Mentalist, and also he was Justin Turn. Great guy, fabulous singer as well, huge animal lover, and we couldn't get through to him through his people. It just so happened, yes, someone that we knew him, texted him about it. He was so on board and had no idea that we had been asking about him for 6 weeks. So that's the problem, is that there are people that are set up to keep you from their people, and that's how they feel their job is, and to be the gatekeepers. And I do a ton of research. I almost know everyone in Hollywood that has a cat, or I can go through the list. And sometimes I have to convince their people that they, and I'll name their cats' names and how many that they have, and pictures or articles where they, call themselves, I'm a proclaimed cat lady, or I'm changing the face of cat daddies, to try and get through.
It's that's to be able to get everything meticulous, but like you said, you call them the gatekeeper. I mean, I originally would always call them a buffer, but no, gatekeeper is better. That is much better.
Yeah. And if there are any super famous people listening right now, let your let your people know causes that you care about.
Yeah.
That's let them know, because the people who know their clients well and know that, yes, this is something really that they care about, when I reach out to them, they absolutely, it goes, I don't have to explain, it goes straight to them.
Do you ever think that maybe part of the problem, and again, we're completely, in the shiny red ball district.
I know, we're in the Hollywood world.
This is where I totally get this. And so, but it's, I always think that maybe they're protecting them from the sound bites or these charities are trying to get something out of them.
No, they're making a job for themselves. They need to be useful in some way, and that's how they say that they are.
I like
that. Yeah.
Well, let's go back into something else I really wanted to ask about, because I thought this was a cool story, and I saw it online. There was a cat, and I want to say November, and it did not have a butt.
Cluck.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a sad ending, though.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Cluck was a little torty kitty who was born without a butthole, and that's a thing. And we named her Cluck because chickens have just one hole. It is that they both pee and poo out of. So there you go. See, we Wikipedia. We're back to the names. And then we named all the other in her litter after farm animals. So we had Cluck and we had Moo and Ba. But Cluck was born without a butthole and was super adorable. And this took a little. I mean, we got a little bit of notice on it, but not as much notice as the guy who crowdsourced making a sandwich, and he got $70,000 or something. But we crowdsourced this, and it was probably the best crowdsourcing we ever did. We made maybe about $12,000 because she needed some really serious surgery to make her little butthole, and part of it is that you don't know what else is going on in there, what other problems there are, right? If you don't have a butthole, there's probably something that's happening. There may be other things. So we kind of had to, I didn't do anything. I, drove her to the vet. So she actually had 3 surgeries. She did really well after the first one. We thought we were really good. Came with some problems. We thought we knew what it was, so we did the second surgery, and we kept her at the vet for that one. And there was more problems, and she didn't make it. But here's the thing I have to say to anyone who's really sad about any of this. I think it's really important that we all realize that any animal that we rescue, whatever that end result is, they were saved. Mm-hmm. If they get sick and die in your care, they were still saved. If they got a wonderful home, they were saved. But the way the industry for no-kill, they want you to do a save rate. So you take all the animals that you've done intake on, all of the animals that you've gotten out, the animals that died or were humanely euthanized, and then they give you your save rate from there. Well, I don't believe that's true. Our save rate is 100% because every animal that comes into Kitty Bungalow is saved. And whether they're kittens that die of parvo, which is a horrible kitten disease and can wipe out litters quickly, or they get happy homes, they're saved. Because before us, they were living under dumpsters and garbage cans and in plastic bags and on hard streets and in super hot weather, and they were unknown and unfed, and we saved them. So it was sad for all of us for Cluck. We loved her. She was adorable and super spunky, and we had really high hopes, and but it's something that I hold as an ultimate truth, and that I have to talk to our volunteers about, because, we get new volunteers all the time, and it's maybe the first time that they've, seen a little kitten die, and we need to know that we still rescued them. Mm-hmm. They were still saved. They don't write in their journal at night, being like, oh, I really hope I get to dance at the American Ballet Theater. I hope I can apply for that scholarship when I'm 16. It's not what happens. They only know the present. They only know the now, and we give them the best now that they've ever had.
I think part of rescuing is that majority of the time, people only hear the positive. But there is a dark side, and it's a hard one. And that's the reality, is that you will take on, especially if you're going to rescue and you're going to foster, you will find that there will be that one case that there's nothing you can do. And it sucks. But you do what you can. I totally get that. I totally get that. Curiosity, though. Because, of course, like I said, it sounds like a Harry Potter, and I love Harry Potter, so that's a great thing. But how did you come up with the name Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats?
So it is what we do, right? We're taking little street urchins. That was my thought of these hissy little dirty faced kittens, is they were little street urchins. And as I mentioned, I grew up as a little kid in the musical theater. So for me, it was sort of Oliver for the ultimate street urchins, and Fagin and his group, and so for me it was really about old England and the old schools with the headmasters and the headmistresses teaching these little orphans how to be proper children. So that's where it came about, and it served us really well. My very first conference, I stood up and I said, "Hi, I'm Sean Simons. I'm the headmistress at Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats." And I went to ask my question, and there was laughter, and I learned right away that when I announced who I was, I had to wait for the laughter. And it was super helpful, because I'm at my first conference. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like everything's super new, and everybody wanted to come up and talk to me afterwards. So that was great, and we get a lot of attention from it. We get a lot of attention from our marketing and our whole shtick, and it has been helpful.
I think it's a great name. And
thank you, I do too. And
it has that magical sound to it, and that's what I loved. I was like, oh, this is such a cool name. Now,
originally, originally the idea was that the headmistress. That if you look at some of our stuff, the headmistress is in this drawing, and she's in all these pictures of these cats, and they're all drawn. And the idea was, I never wanted to be known that I was the headmistress, because I wanted this to be like Dread Pirate Roberts. From my name is Atia Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Princess Bride. The whole thing from Dread Pirate Roberts is that the real Dread Pirate Roberts, died years ago, or he retired, but he passes on the name to someone else, but no one really ever knew who it was. And that was my hope, that there would just be this mystical person that was the headmistress, and that we could pass it on to someone else, and it was never me, because it was never about me or my ego. But it didn't work out that way. Everybody wanted to talk to the person and find out the person behind it. But anyway, side note.
A little bit of Doctor Who in a sense.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a possibility. Now, of course, there's other. You're very fortunate. You have an absolute amazing organization, and you do have a great deal of attention, which is always helpful. There's never enough attention, but you also started an online store, which I was looking at your stuff and I thought it was so cute. I mean, it was just, it's...
Thank you. Nobody ever never goes there or buys anything. We never sell anything. That's so funny.
Really?
Seriously. We never sell anything. We have an Etsy store now. We never sell anything. We have these great cat and dog beds out of vintage suitcases that we all make by hand.
Oh, wow.
Never sell anything.
Oh, come on. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Everybody
Serious.
hit pause on the podcast and go over and take a look.
It's not even expensive.
Oh my gosh. I was looking at it going, I've always dabbled in the idea of starting, some kind of t-shirts thinking nobody's going to buy it, but I'm looking at your stuff going, well, everybody's probably buying out of everything because it's so cool.
That's so funny.
Oh,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And
it's not this is not as easy as you think. Everyone, and I have to say this, anyone who's out there thinking that they want to start a rescue, don't. Go find a rescue that looks like something that you would do. Like, that's similar. Like, maybe I would, change the color a little bit, or I'd use a different font, or they don't have this program that I want to do. Find a rescue that's already out there and put your passion and time as a part of that. Become a board member. Grow that out. I mean, I don't, you give up a lot. And you ain't going to get paid. So if you can forget that. It's so hard, and it takes so much time. If I could do it again, this is not how I would do it. I would certainly find more people. I'd do it as a co-op. I'd get, because I started by myself, and it's no way to do it. It's so much harder than you think. Charity is so much harder than you think, and it's just become something other than charity. Even we get contacted all the time by businesses and things that want to use kittens. Kittens are super hot right now, and we're the entertainment, kitten horror group that we've been on all kinds of TV shows, all kinds of commercials. We get paid almost nothing. I mean, the kittens get paid, it's like the $150 that they will take out a kitten for 2 days to be in a TV show. It's charity, man. And I think the problem is that the uppers at Fox don't know, and they're missing an opportunity. We did this thing with Katy Perry, who is she had a line of CoverGirl, Katy Perry's Purr or something or another, and the ad was 5 white kittens and 1 black kitten. Those were all our kittens.
Oh, really? That was
6 kittens.
That was a huge
for
ad.
a week. Yeah. Yeah. $500 we got for that. And here's the thing, it's not that people are being cheap, it's that somewhere along the line it's broken down. They're not thinking of it as charity. It's in someone's entertainment budget that we need kittens, right? So then we need a kitten handler and a cat trainer, so the way that it's done normally in entertainment. But they go to the rescues. It should be, how much are you paying that cat trainer, and then a blank line for charity donation, because CoverGirl missed a great opportunity to do huge PR blitz about this whole campaign was done with rescue kittens from Kitty Bungalow Charm School for Wayward Cats. And yes, it'd be great for Katy Perry to show up at our rescue with a giant check. And I don't just mean with a lot of zeros. I just like the ones that are really big,
Me too.
Yeah, and or a CoverGirl representative could have been there with a giant check. And whether it was, $1,000 or $5,000, come to the bungalow. They could have been in all kinds of other PR. They could have been in all the rescue magazines and a whole different line that they could have gotten marketing press out of that they completely miss out. And of course, our cats miss out because we have $500.
That is so poor and so terrible. Oh my gosh. Come on, CoverGirl.
I know, but it's not CoverGirl's fault. They didn't know, and that's the problem. Is you can't kind of figure out whose fault is it? Who do we go and talk to? How do we change this? Where's the right place to go? And it's really just where this whole this whole country is right now. There's not much focus on charity and how charities work and how charities can be helpful, how partnerships with charities can be helpful. If you support a rescue organization and they're supported by a company, go to that company, go buy something there.
Yes.
And let them know this is why I'm doing this, because it's all about consumerism.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let everybody know how they can get involved, whether it's donate or it's get involved as a foster or whatever you possibly need.
Sure. The first thing, go to our Facebook page at Kitty Bungalow Charm School and like us. And then anytime you see anything, just like it. I tell my volunteers all the time, it's volunteering you can do on the toilet. Like, how easy is that? Because back to this consumerism thing, here's what happens. Mark Zuckerberg writes me an email, not personally, but every day he's like, would you like to boost that post for $20? And I write him back, no, I don't. I would like my 120 volunteers to organically boost that post by just going to my damn site and pressing like while they're sitting on the toilet. So if you like us at all and want to support our organization from afar, go to Kitty Bungalow Charm School on Facebook and like us, follow us, or whatever it's called now. And whenever you see anything in the feed, just like it. You don't even have to like it. I don't care if you like it. Just like it, because that will help us be seen to our other followers, and that actually helps us later. And we go like, why? How does that help a cat? That helps us later get corporate sponsorship, which helps us fund our giant gala, which helps us pay for our cats for a year. So that's one easy way. On our website, you'll find all kinds of information about our organization and our programs. If you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to volunteer, I'd like to volunteer on there, and we'll get you into an orientation. Any of you mimosa drinkers that are thinking about going out to have a mimosa and thinking, wow, there are people out there helping cats while I'm drinking mimosas, go ahead, drink your mimosa. Just send us the price of your mimosa as a donation, which you can do on our website. Hit the donate button. I think you can do it on our Facebook page. Hit the donate button. And if you really love cats, TNR,
yes.
Just do it. It's the most important thing you can do. I know you talked a lot about Hollywood tonight, and it's my old world, and it's kind of different and fun. But TNR is the shizzle. That's the thing. And wherever you are, if you see a stray cat on that street, it's probably not fixed. When cats get TNR, they get an ear tip, so you'll know. But an unfixed cat out on the street will have babies, between 3 and 5 babies, and probably 3 times a year. And those kittens, more than likely, are ending up in the shelters. So get the cats fixed.
They'll end up in the shelter. They'll end up on the side of the road. They'll end up as food to prey. And it's just sad. Yeah. It's so sad. It's like we can make a little bit of a difference. Small difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Start on your own street. Just do your street. You don't have to get as far into it as I do and start your own thing. But start your own backyard. Do your neighbor's backyard. Do your street. If all of the cat lovers that love cats so much and that are driving all the cat traffic, if we just did a little bit, then everyone else wouldn't have to lift so much. So just go out and do a little.
Totally agree with you. Is there anything we didn't talk about that we should have talked about that we didn't cover this time?
Well, we can always talk more about cats at another time.
You are welcome to come back anytime you want.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And I always enjoy having great cat conversations because, again, cats don't get the respect that they deserve. And they're such an amazing little friend. So I always love having cat conversations.
Agreed.
Well, I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime. Wait, you forgot about me. And now a moment with Claire.
Well, here's a segment of our podcast that actually we haven't done in a while. This is a moment with Claire. We used to do these a lot, and with everything going on, it was kind of difficult. Well, Claire has just finished her springtime 2018 soccer season, so tell us all about it.
It was wonderful. I love doing the games. I love going against my friends, all that stuff. It was a great series, better than fall. We did wonderful in our soccer team.
You had your best soccer season so far. You scored a total of
9.
9 goals in 8 games. That's absolutely awesome. What was that like?
Pretty good. I was trying to score 10. I couldn't make it.
The last team was very difficult to play against, and you had some friends on the other side, so that I will kind of guess that by Monday morning there'll be a little bit of trash talking at school.
What is that?
You know how Shannon always says, we won?
Oh, yeah.
That's trash talking. But, it was a great season. You guys really worked hard. We lost 2 games because of the inclement weather. Typically, a season is 10 games, 5 weeks, 10 games.
But we only get 8.
But we only got 8. What do you want
That's fine with me.
Well, it's starting to get extremely hot here. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those, it's good that it's over. So, what do you want to actually say about the season that, you haven't said so far?
Can I tell them?
Tell them. You're the one telling the story.
You always say that. So our wins we only got 3. Our losses we have 4.
Right.
And our ties we only have 1.
Right.
I'm surprised we have 1 tie.
Well, throughout the season, one of the hardest things about what's been going on is we've had this one ref that has it out for us. She is not happy with us and calls some really bad things, where we've had penalty kicks that should not have been. We've had a lot of different things that have cost us games. And look, this is one of those, it's for fun, but these kids are getting ready to play at a higher level. Yeah, junior high. Right. And, this is I understand you're 9, and it's not going to matter on the field. But, when they don't call games correctly, it makes it a little difficult. So, anything you want to say before we conclude a moment with Claire?
Sure.
She's not a podcaster, folks. You can tell.
Shut up.
You have never podcasted before, have you?
Oh my gosh, you're so ridiculous.
Thank you.
Don't.
Well, keep going. Who now we wonder who has the shiny red ball.
Ooh, shiny red ball.
Shiny red ball. Let's go this way. Go ahead. Put a top on this one.
This is just ridiculous, but
yes.
If you're watching this,
listening to this, they're not watching.
Listening to this, if you have a child, try to make them play soccer. It's so fun. Wait.
I like
Soccer's fun.
I like her enthusiasm. But you love basketball.
Not as much as I do soccer.
All right, well, that's a moment with Claire. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Or evening or morning, whenever you're listening to this podcast. I do.
And this was a moment with Claire.